What is up, enthusiasts? It is Cedar Flags here and welcome back to another one of my videos. I was looking at a series I haven't done in a while on my channel, and it seemed like it was just around the right time to post another installment of my Unpopular Opinion series, because, let's be honest, as I ride more roller coasters and get more experiences, the unpopular opinions just, well, continue to grow. So I have 5 more for you today, so sit back, relax, and endure these unpopular opinions. Before the video starts, I just want to let you all know that you could post your unpopular opinions in the comments below as well, but friendly discussion only, no harassment of any kind. This is a friendly channel, and we welcome opinions of all kinds. Remember, these are roller coasters, not American politics. So without further ado, this is Cedar Flags, and these are some more unpopular coaster opinions. When I look at many people's top 20, top 30, top whatever roller coaster lists, I see Fury very, very high up on the list. And I'll see other B&M Gigas like Leviathan, which I have not ridden, and Orion at Kings Island, which I have ridden, still on the list, but nowhere near to the amount of Fury 325. You'll see Fury in many people's top 5s or even top 3s, and then you'll see rides like Orion in the 20s, or maybe, being generous, the late teens. And it just boggles my mind sometimes, because in my personal opinion, these two rides are nearly on par. They are 2 spots apart in my top lists, and let me just say, I do prefer Fury slightly, but I think these rides can differentiate very much so. I think Fury is a great ride, I think Orion's a great ride, and if I were to rate both of them out of 10, I would probably both rate them both a solid 9 out of 5. These two rides are great, and my second and third favorite B&Ms. And so I just don't get when people rank Fury way over something like Orion, because in my opinion, the ride experiences are very similar. They have low to the ground elements, they have overbanked turns, they have very similar turnaround elements, and when it comes to airtime, I would say they're pretty much on par. In fact, Orion and Fury probably have around the same amount. The drop's the exact same in my opinion, and the duration around the same as well. Now the height is shorter on Orion, and like I said, Orion is slightly shorter, but that doesn't keep them from being very similar on my rankings. I see other people rank similar coasters by each other, like Steel Vengeance and Twisted Timbers, or Diamondback and Nitro. But it seems like there's a major difference here, and that most people will agree that Fury 325 is this world-class coaster, but Orion's just another cookie-cutter B&M Giga, which I, once again, really don't get when the quality of these coasters, in my personal opinion, are very, very similar. So I've mentioned this before in the past, but I haven't dedicated a whole spot on a video towards it, so let's talk about Kumba. Kumba is a B&M looper located at Busch Gardens, Tampa, and if you're a veteran coaster enthusiast or know about coasters whatsoever, you definitely know about this ride. It is one of the highest critically acclaimed B&Ms of all time, so why am I talking about it here? Well, in my personal opinion, I think this ride is pretty overrated, and was definitely a very underwhelming ride. But do I still love it? Absolutely. But not in the same way as a world-class roller coaster. I would say out of all of the B&M loopers I have ridden, taking them all into account, I would say this would be probably a little above average. And I would say it's more in the average part than the world-class sticking out of it part. This ride would probably be on par to a ride like Batman at Six Flags Great America, or maybe even Wild Eagle at Dollywood. All 3 of these rides provide very different ride experiences, so let me explain why I think Kumba is more average than it is super intense. First of all, the duration. Now I'm going to make a lot of comparisons to Montu because I think Montu is a world-class looper. First things first, Montu is definitely a lot smoother. In my opinion, Kumba definitely has a lot of headbanging in the second half of the ride. The first half is pretty nice, but the second half, it really rattled my head around pretty bad. And second off, I think that Montu is definitely longer and a lot more forceful. Now, don't get me wrong, Kumba's a forceful looper, but I wouldn't say it's any more intense than a ride like Raptor at Cedar Point. It provides some great Gs, but people put Kumba a pedestal above most B&M loopers, if not all. I know people that put this up with rides like Fury 325, which I mentioned earlier, and let me clarify, I think Fury is leagues above this. Now, I clarified this once and I'll clarify it once again. I still think Kumba is a phenomenal ride, but out of the 3 B&Ms at the park, I think it was the least out of the 3. While Sheikra provided a great amount of airtime moments on the drops, and Montu provided some of the best inversions I've experienced on a coaster, Kumba just seemed like your average B&M looper. And don't get me wrong, the Hell Roll's incredible, the Cobra Roll's my favorite of any coaster I've ever been on, and the Loop and Dive Loop are also insane as well. But pretty average when it comes to the scale of all of the B&M loopers I've been on. Now, I'm steering into a little bit of a different direction for this third opinion. Don't worry, I will go back to coasters with my next opinions in the video, but I want to be dedicated to my water park fans as well. As you know, I am a huge water park fan, almost as much as I am parks, and for my water park enjoyers, this one's for you. Now, when it comes to water slides very similar to roller coasters, there are different genres. With water slides, you could find body slides, mat racer slides, water coasters, and raft slides. But in my opinion, I think one of the most boring water slide genres is the water coaster, more specifically the newer hydromagnetic water coasters. I'm a huge fan of a ride like the former Zip Coaster at Kalahari, which relied on conveyor belts and was a rather outdated structure. No, when I'm talking about water coasters, I am more specifically talking about the hydromagnetic water coasters like Toothless at DreamWorks Water Park, or the ones at Holiday World like Mammoth and Wildebeest. In my opinion, they're still very fun, but the least out of all the water slides I have ever been on. I have gotten to ride Toothless, and I gotta say, I really did not feel anything on this water coaster. It was very shallow, it was slow, and to add on to that, the water splashes right in your face and I could have barely seen anything. Now, I would much rather ride something like a body slide. And funny enough, these are easily the least popular types of water slides out there. You can go to a water park on the most crowded day ever. I know I have. And body slide lines will be extremely short, especially ones with trapdoors. While raft slides and water coasters will have extremely long lines. So, I guess that makes me lucky when it comes to what I prefer at a water park. I know that most water park enthusiasts will disagree with me, but if I go to a water park and it has a bunch of body slides but no water coasters, well, I would be a-okay with that. Now, this next one might be one of the more unpopular ones that I've talked about. In my opinion, one of my favorite types of B&M coasters are B&M stand-ups. Honestly, I'm a pretty big fan of these. I have currently ridden 2 B&M stand-up coasters, including Mantis at Cedar Point and more recently Vortex at Carowinds, and I found both of them to be extremely fun experiences. Not the most pleasant, but people talk about these being some of the worst coasters ever. And like I said, I would definitely have to disagree. First things first, they're not as rough as people say. If you ride defensively, if you hold on to those restraints, headbanging will be very minimal, and when it comes to the hurt that you have down on your crotch and your feet, with the crotch issue, just make sure the restraint is down enough, and second off with the feet, make sure that your feet are well rested before you get on the ride. Yes, your legs will feel like jelly, but my personal opinion, I really do like that feeling. And 2, I really like the gimmick of stand-up coasters. I know that might sound a little outdated, and I know it was a big fad in the 90s, but just looking at these rides and having the ability to stand up on a roller coaster while going upside down and pulling some negative G's, it feels completely different from anything else I've ever experienced, and I really hope that one day there will be a resurgence. Hopefully the stand-up coaster will come back in the form of a surf coaster, but I honestly kind of doubt it. Anyways, where are my stand-up coaster fans at? Let me know in the comments below. For the final opinion we are going to be talking about in this video, I'm going to go back to B&M. I've been talking about B&M a lot in this video, but we're going to go to a model I absolutely love, the B&M Invert. Some of these rides are absolutely incredible. They changed the coaster industry up, and to this day, they thrill guests all across the world. Now, I love these rides, especially in the back. When you sit in the back, you get pulled over those inversions because the transitions already are very tight, but then you get pulled over by the weight of the front of the train ahead of you. And that is the exact reason I hate the front rows of B&M inverts. In fact, the rides aren't decent. I honestly find the rides in the front rows of B&M inverts a little unpleasant. Let me explain. First off, when you're sitting in the front row of a B&M invert, it will be a lot less forceful. I mean, that's how it is for most rides. But second off, especially when you're in a vertical loop or a dive loop style element, you will feel yourself slow down and the weight of the back of the train pull you up a little bit. I've experienced this especially on rides like Montu and Raptor, which are very old-fashioned B&M inverts that have very tight transitions. Now, both of these rides are absolutely stellar in the back rows, some of the best ride experiences ever. But in the front, for me, it's a lot more tame and you feel a lot more uncomfortable during those snappy elements. The back, in my opinion, is the way to go. Now, before I end the video, I would like to give this category a little bit of an exception with Banshee at Kings Island. This is a newer B&M and the transitions are a lot more spread out and long drawn, and that can be a blessing and a curse in many ways. A good blessing is that the front row does not have this setback, so the front row will feel very similar to the back row. Anyways, what did you think about this video? Let me know down in the comments below, and let me know if I should do another one of these videos. We are almost at 12,000 subscribers, and, well, with 12,000 is going to come a new iceberg. Let me know what you think about that in the comments below, and let me know some of your unpopular opinions. Until next time, this is Cedar Flags, and I will see you all later.